incorporated is strictly prohibited. Ladies and gentlemen, to honor America, please stand for our national anthem. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Saratoga and another absolutely beautiful day in Saratoga Springs, New York. Sunny skies, the temperature will be in the high 70s, the main track is fast, the turf courses are firm, and we have a pick six carryover today of nearly $124,000. If you'll turn to your programs, we'll go over the changes for today's 10-race card. And we'll start in the first race. And in the first, scratch 8, Frankie C, through the 11, August Bloom. Scratch numbers 8, 9, 10, and 11 out of race 1. Second race, no changes. The third race is the John Morrissey handicap, and no changes in the third. In the fourth race, scratch 2, Couper, and 11, Mondus. Scratch 2 and scratch 11 from the fourth. Race 5 will start the pick six. And once again, we have that carryover of nearly $124,000. There are no changes in race 5. The sixth race is the Union Avenue handicap. We now have an overweight. Number 3, Mashney Girl, is 1 pound over. In the seventh race, scratch 7, Frippet, and 11, Mariah's Fortune. Seventh race, scratch numbers 7 and 11. The eighth race is the Evan Shipman handicap, and there are no changes. In the ninth race, we'll start with the scratches. Scratch 4, Lacey Underall, and scratch 12, Chiara, through the 15, Road to Remember. So in the ninth, scratch numbers 4, 12, 13, 14, and 15. And we have a couple of jockey changes. Number 6, Sarah's Splendor, will now be ridden by Javier Castellano. Javier Castellano's on the 6. Number 7, Ace Up Her Sleeve, will be ridden by Trevor McCarthy. Trevor McCarthy on the 7, Ace Up Her Sleeve. And in today's 10th race, scratch the also eligibles, 13, Galena, through the 16, Karamoka. Scratch 13, 14, 15, and 16. A rider change on the 1, Looking to Fly, to Eric Consell. Eric Consell rides the 1. A rider change on the 9, Dufresne to Kendrick Caramouche. Caramouche is on the 9, and a rider change will be announced for number 12, Temperamental. Jockey change to be announced on the 12, Temperamental. Main track fast, turf course is firm here at the Spa, and we have a pick 6 carryover of almost $124,000. We'll be back at 12:30 to recap the changes. First race post is at 1:05. Up next, the Friday edition of Talking Horses with Andy Serling and Anthony Stabile.
Good morning, everyone. A glorious morning it is. Welcome to day number 22, Talking Horses, sponsored by Saratoga Springwater. Happy to have them on board. Appreciate their support. He is Anthony Stabile. I'm Andy Serling. Big weekend coming up. Weather looks perfect. Should we get to work?
Yeah, I love your get up today. That's a great shirt.
I wore it for you, Anthony. Thank you. I
Thanks.
appreciate that you noticed it because I really, when I put it on, I thought, I hope Anthony
We got the
notices
purple. We got a little purple going on.
Don't start
together.
comparing our clothing. Okay, just give me the compliment and I'm going to live
Well,
with it.
you have the shirt and I have the purple, and your purple's in my tie.
So
my friend Dennis gave me
in
this
other
tie,
words,
by the
this
way.
was really an opportunity for Anthony to make the entire thing about himself. He couldn't just compliment
You're
me.
the third person.
See
that
what
said
I have
to-
to put
you're
up
the
with
third
here?
person that said to me in 2 days that I make everything about me. That's unbelievable.
It's a trend.
It is a trend. I'm a trendsetter.
Head over to Naira Bets. Make this about you. Use the
Yes.
promo code TOGA200.
Love
We'll
that.
match with $200 of your initial deposit. play through NYRA Bets, keep the money in the game, and support racing in New York. We have carryover pick six, $123,924.
We'll have a ticket up for that in a little while over at NYRA Bets.
Kind of a tough first.
Yes.
This is the first pick six carryover in a little while. I don't remember. It's been a while. We started out so strong with that double carryover.
Couple weeks.
Anyway,
easily, right?
There might have been one in there somewhere. Anyway, we've also got 10 times points today at Del Mar and Emerald Downs, in action at Del Mar. What else do we have? We have the 4-Star Dave Challenge. You have to 5 o'clock today to sign up. That's tomorrow. You can play on track online through NYRA Bets. $3,000 buy-in, $5,000 seeded prize pool, all cash prizes. We also have America's Day at the Races, 1 to 5 on FS2, 5 to 6 on FS1, 6 to 6:30 on FS2. What could go wrong? That'll be fun. I'll be on the late show. All right, today's first race.
Let's do it.
I copped out the way you did in this race with the one. I'm
It's not
just
nice.
kidding. It's a cop-out. I mean, it's a cop-out pick. It's a horse that lost at even money first time. We'll take a look at the horse losing. That's got plenty of turf pedigree. That John Kimmel actually entered on the dirt the other day, did not get in,
Yeah.
and then entered in this race. Obviously able to get in, justifies a Scat Daddy. This horse is a half to Bar of Gold, but Bar of Gold won on the turf, though she was better on the dirt. And is he giving up on the dirt a little bit? Yeah, he is, but the pedigree says turf. The likeliest winner, but part of me feels like I'm kind of copping out. It was supposed to be a little more creative, but I wasn't.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, we're going to take a horse. We're going to take the worst of it because she's going to be even money. And you're right. Maybe
She
she
was
is.
last time,
Yeah,
and she
she's going to be
lost.
even money again. Right. That's why I said we're taking the worst of it. But there wasn't enough anywhere else for me to be enticed to pick against her today.
Okay. You've got the 2 Irish Empress.
There was
second.
a little push on this horse coming out of the same races. I'm just kidding. She was drawn inside that day.
Did no running.
Did not do much running. Now she gets to the turf. Dam was 1 for 22 on the grass. Tally Lynch was able to get this horse over the Oklahoma turf course a couple of weeks after the debut. I don't know. I thought if there was going to be an interesting horse in here. I didn't have. I thought this horse would be a little bit higher on the line, but who knows?
Well, it's a horse that ran. Horse with experience
Yeah.
are always going to take more money, so I'm not sure when Joel Rosario.
Now I did find out that this is the Schosberg tip from yesterday.
After the one yesterday, you would hope it is.
Yes, I
Okay,
found
well,
that
the
out
2
yesterday.
Irish Empress, a half to 1 turf winner out of 3 to try it. Fairly minor runner. The Dam ran a 75 buyer in running those 21 races in the turf where she hit the board 10 times. There's not an extreme amount of pedigree. There was 1 foal from the Dam, did win on the turf in the 3 reunions, but that horse was very, very weak. And overall, it's just not a very strong turf pedigree on a horse being ridden by Eric Cancel.
No, excellent timing a half. This was the half.
Right, but excellent timing was a disaster the one time that
One
Chad
time
Brown
on the
ran on the
turf.
turf at Churchill Downs on Derby Day and was actually a talented dirt horse. Charlie Baker originally had him, and then Chad Brown purchased
4's a
him.
half to our old friend Horoscope.
Was not a turf horse.
No.
The 7 Never Personal interests me a little bit in this race. A hard spot. It's the first fall from a Dam that was a multiple winner on the turf. It was okay, nothing special. Thought this one might be kind of interesting. Flying P, actually, they have one first time starter. But Bruce Levine, interestingly enough, his 2 wins at this meet have both been first time starters.
Yep.
Maybe he'll have 3 and they'll all be first time starters. It'll be some kind of record for Bruce, who's won with firsters over the years, but not at a high rate. But
Not prolifically.
That 2-year-old is that won earlier in the meet, because the horse that he beat that ran second,
The debut, the horse in the first race.
Larry Curley and Mo, the horse that ran second, that was ran very well yesterday. The Donegal first for Todd Pletcher looked impressive winning, but that was a race with a pace completely and totally incinerated. And
He
Larry
hung
Curley
around.
and Mo was up front early. That horse of Bruce Levine's that won that race, that horse is a runner. I imagine we'll see him in the New York bred stakes coming up a
Funny
little
side,
later at the
yeah.
meet. Race number 2.
Seeking
So,
the ante, maybe funny side rather.
one of those, whatever.
Funny side, yeah. Colt.
Run Up the Score will be a big favorite probably in race number 2 and is the likeliest winner for Chad Brown and Clarvett Stables. It's just, I mean, I'm just a little sick of this horse. And
Yep.
obviously you are as well because you've taken the same horse that I have. But you've got him 4th and 3rd in here. Run Up the Score. I'll be surprised if he's not 1-2.
No. I wrote it wrong. That's supposed to be 624. You can leave it now because that's how I have it on the website. I wrote 624 on the top. Yeah, that was a mistake. But yes, I am a little sick of this horse. Stayed at Churchill, went down to the Churchill string. I mean, this horse, I don't know if it was the sloppy track. This horse didn't do much running at all last time. That bothers me a little bit, obviously. Yeah, we land on the same the same alternative. I think Regina just makes a lot of sense getting back to the main
Why?
track. Well, getting back to the main track off the turf race last time out, in for the tag on the dirt for the first time.
What'd you like about the horse's dirt races?
I just thought the first race she made up some ground going long, going short, and then the stretch out was fine after a little bit of trouble at the start. And then I don't know. I'm not going to assume something happened that day, but she was gone for 5 months. So
Okay, I like Regina because the race she ran at Laurel 2 races back, her last dirt race, was a key race. The winner came back and improved 17 buyer points. The second horse came back to win and improved 19 buyer points and then 10 buyer points in the subsequent start. The fourth horse ran a 61 buyer first time, a 40 buyer in this race, and a 59 buyer the next time out. So it's a race which has proven to be very productive going forward in the dirt, and I think Linda might have underestimated a little bit continuously entering Regina on the turf. She finally ran her. She didn't do any running. Yes, she's dropping, but I also think that this is a horse that might be a little bit buried, and she's actually better than she looks on paper. And that's really why I like her. And the stumble start is nonsense. She barely bobbled in that race. She kind of broke in line with the horses. So that didn't bother me, but I thought she comes out of a race at Laurel that's just significantly stronger. I'm not going to completely fall asleep on my friend Nick Zito's horse, Pout. We'll take the race at Churchill Downs. I mean, doesn't this race give this horse a chance in here at least?
last 2 races probably do. And they were back in August and November of last year, so this was going to have to deal with a considerable layoff, but has already run for a tag.
Plus, horses like Morning Matcha, and those are pretty good horses she ran against back here, and I'm always hoping my friend Nick Zito gets a win here. So
I wonder if this horse was allowed to run for the waiver. I don't know if the deal is higher than, if it's the level or if it's higher than. I know
higher. You can run higher.
You can't
can run
drop.
for the waiver higher. Yeah, you can run for the waiver
You can't
higher.
drop. So.
Well, I don't think they're too worried about losing horses that cost
No, of course not.
$10,500.
Of
If
course.
somebody wants to claim this horse for $75,
They throw a
I think
party.
the champagne bottles
Yeah.
will be popping here. I just wonder if Nick Zito is going to be jealous when he hears that Wayne Lucas was talking to my mom yesterday.
I heard
because,
about
you know,
this.
Nick and my mom go way back, and Nick wasn't here, and Wayne's sort of moving into her spot. Wayne was very
Wow.
nice chatting with my mom. That was a highlight. It's always nice to have my mom here for a few races yesterday. We'll see what happens in race number 2. Late scratch just announced in race number 3. The 3, Listen to Your Heart, came out, a horse I actually thought was a player in this race. And this is a race that Anthony and I see completely differently. We'll see how it plays out, and we'll start the conversation, though, with the horse who's favored on the outside, New York Traffic. And I don't have any problem with this horse being the horse to beat. Does come back just 13 days after really not doing any running behind Jackie's Warrior, a race where he was clearly favored to be second and really didn't have much pickup. And that bothers me a little bit. I know it was Jackie's Warrior, but he's supposed to have made some kind of run in there, and he did no running at all.
The problem with him is you take Jackie's Warrior out of the equation last time. He didn't do a stitch of running to get second place.
That concerned me a little bit.
Nothing.
Having said that, runs that kind of race, he's going to be tough to beat in here.
But Andy, isn't he a little inconsistent?
Well, except he's consistent in races like this. You know, look at his race in the Hudson. Look at his race in the Affirmed Success. When he runs against...
I guess.
Okay. Talk about St. Selby, the speed on the inside. Now, the Rob Atras barn won a couple of races yesterday. Suddenly came a little bit alive. The horses ran a lot better than
Ghost Giant ran really well yesterday.
So maybe you want to move him up. He did. He ran well.
He ran well yesterday.
I won 2 lunches in that race. We're at 103 lunches.
What did we do there?
You bet me that cinch Barrage would beat Roos.
Oh.
Barrage is the 8th ball. We can go visit him.
You got to be 2 lengths.
He was awful. Anthony.
He stunk.
He was awful.
But you're acting like he got beat a pole.
He
You got to be
did.
2 lengths.
He got beat a proverbial pole. This horse has been in great form. He's just supposed to take some pressure from the horse outside of him. Though I'll tell you something. I don't know if the horse outside of him can run anymore. And if he can't, he's going to be the controlling speed. And while I'm not his biggest fan in this race, I kind of won't be shocked if he runs okay in here.
I don't
with the
trust
barn doing better.
I don't trust New York Traffic because he didn't do any running last time and he's coming back in 13 days. Okay? And I'm not a fan of my boy Tate Hill. You'll talk about you have him on top. Obviously, Reggae Music Man, a little tough to make. So I think you're 100% right. I believe if What Do You Think Now shows up, the good What Do You Think Now shows up.
We'll
I think
show
he'll
you
win.
we'll show you the very brief appearance of the good. What do you think now?
Well, he had
2 races.
3 of his last 5 races, Andy. Make him player in here.
No, that's not true. But okay, but we'll discuss it. We'll show his race 2 back. If he runs this race, he's going to very likely win this race. The difference between this race and his 10-length win with a 104 Beyer the race before
Was a speed bias.
The race 2-3 back was a big inside track.
Yeah.
This was actually a fair track, and he ran huge. However, in running huge, after just dramatically improving, and I understand he always had some ability, but he dramatically improved here. He disappeared. There was talk of running him in the Carter. There was talk of running a lot of places, and he disappeared. He's running for a trainer that's closing in on 0 for 50 at the meet. Those horses are running. He's hitting the board 25% of the time. This guy wins 25% of the time.
Listen, you don't have to tell me about Rudy
So
Rodriguez.
it's not just that he's losing. They're not running. I mean,
They're not
okay,
running.
his horse ran well in the test. It's a tough beat, no doubt. But in general, they're not showing
They're
up.
not running.
And would you like to please explain his performance at Parks last time?
So I was with Rudy at a barbecue when this horse ran last time at Parks. To me,
What'd you have?
we were at Darryl Abramowitz's house. He made the best cheeseburger I've ever eaten.
I wonder if he gets something interesting.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Sure, he's
It was
here,
it.
really.
Rudy threw a couple of people in the swimming pool. It was fun. A couple of his grooms.
I'm guessing he didn't throw you in the women's.
They tried. It wasn't going to happen, but they tried.
Okay.
So
Back to our regularly scheduled
if what do you
programming.
think now is done, they're going to have an awful tough time beating St. Selby today.
Okay, but what do you
I think. What do you
barbecue
think,
or
okay,
not last time?
I think, what do you
want to say about his last race?
I don't think he handled the track one bit. I mean, these dramatics. I mean, what are you looking
Anthony,
for? An Oscar?
he
Buddy,
couldn't even
that-
get out of the
buddy's
gate.
season.
He didn't even have any
He didn't
speed.
run-
He was atrocious.
Listen, I think he needed the race. I don't think he handled the track. Now, the blinkers on might be a sign that there is some desperation here.
Oh, no. There's definitely some desperation.
Okay? The blinkers on might be a sign of desperation. I completely
Can we make some lunch
understand
bets? I want to take 4 over 2. They're like the same price in the line. You don't like the 4. I don't like the 2.
that. Yeah, we can do
Okay.
that.
We're at 1 and 3. You want to do 3?
Sure.
All right.
Sure.
You guys wonder how I got to 103,
I don't like
don't
my
you?
boy Tate for a quarter in here.
Because
What am I supposed to like?
that he's fast enough to win. He runs well off layoffs. He's run against a lot of good horses. Michelle is running him back in an aggressive spot off the layoff. There's possibility. I mean, you're the one who thinks the 2 is going to run. If you think the 2 is going to run, don't you think there's going to be some pace? You like the other speed, so therefore you have to think that he's going to show some speed. So you have to think
he's going to
it's
sit second to him. I think this race goes 1-2-2. I don't like. See, my bigger opinion is I really don't like New York Traffic. I like him more than I like my boy Tate, but I don't like either of them today.
okay.
So I think the race gets dominated on the front end. I think the 1 or 2 are going to win this race.
Okay.
So this is a race I wish was in the pick 6 because I think this race could be a little bit of a separator.
Okay. All right. We have a different opinion in this race. We got a 3 lunch bet, so it's all good. Race number 4. Don't worry, we'll have some agreements, unfortunately, in the show.
Yes.
It just ruins the show. Race number 4 is not exactly a race that has a great deal of form. Why have you landed on the
I
same
always like
horse
to.
landed
I always
on?
like to figure out how you're going to put that.
There's just no form. I mean,
No, there's just no.
by the way,
form.
I just want to say something. I'm a little proud that I managed to have the exacta in my top 4 picks in the last race yesterday, and I'm so
Oh, you used
annoyed
Succulent, right?
about Saratoga. Succulent ran great. Dylan gave that horse a tremendous ride. He gave Succulent a tremendous ride in that.
Such a weird.
Another losing
this
rate
meet-
ride
this
that was
meet-
a great ride.
This meet has been so weird because I think the thing you and I talk about it a little bit. Those outside draws are not as cumbersome as they used to be.
I don't know. It just depends if the riders are better at it. The winner who I made probably my biggest bet in the
Please.
meet on last time and didn't run a step. Anyway.
Shaking my head.
So
9-1.
why do you like Queen of Lies?
I would have to imagine that this horse is going to be in front today.
Well,
I like the
You
riders.
would think a sprinter stretching out at a mile and a 16th and race with no speed is going to be in
I
front.
get a rider change to my main man, Joel Rosario. You get the drop in class. This horse is supposed to stretch.
Joel did give a bad ride yesterday. And you know I love Joel, but his ride on Mr. Connecticut was in a UFO somewhere. And I love the guy, but
He get claimed.
I don't know. But anyway, Queen of Lies. I praise the guy nonstop. I have to mention when he gave a sort of poor ride, don't I?
I mean,
Have to have some
I
credibility.
was watching on Palm Sunday. I got to go back and watch, so I'm not going to comment on it. But if you say he did, no, I don't think
was-
anybody watches the
he
race
was
better
in
than
no
you. So
man's land.
I'll give it to you. No, that I know. Yeah, he was
Anyway,
wide.
yes, this horse is going to be in front, stretching
Yeah.
out. Tony Dutcher,
Drop down.
Wordsworth, minor stats, stretching out horses on the turf. But this is the kind of horse is a total cop-out. I did it, you did it. But this horse is going to be in front. The inner turf, you want to be on the rail, and there's nobody else you want.
No, we
But
both.
it's
We
hard
both,
to be overly confident.
We
on
both
this guy.
give Tapple Cider a little bit of love off the last
Well, we'll
trip.
discuss her in a second.
Yeah, I mean, I know latest edition with getting the Lasix third start. Javier's hot.
The one was atrocious last time. If all she had to do was run second to the winner, and I would have made a huge score. Javier gave her an absolutely perfect ride, and she was awful. So if she wins and she gets the rail, I mean, I scratched in her third too, but because there's nobody else, she was awful. As far as Tapple Cider, this is another race that Dylan was giving an excellent ride and getting an excellent trip in a bad race. And that's one of the reasons I think the 6 is going to be so tough, because the other horses are so flawed. The one got a perfect trip. The 5 got in some trouble, but she had such an unbelievable trip. She cuts that corner. What did she pick up? About
Saved
3
every
lengths
inch of
when she
ground,
cuts
yep.
the corner like that? That's like the old Joel Rosario move. And yes, no question about it. She got blocked down on the inside of horses, and she probably could have been second. Wow, congratulations. With a perfect trip, she would have finished ahead of Oak Loves a Fight. You know, that's the reason the 6 is so appealing. These horses are unbelievably unappealing.
I couldn't agree
You
with
know,
you more.
and yes, this horse had some trouble, and I would get it. But she also was in the process of getting about as good a trip and good a ride as you can get on the racetrack.
Yeah.
That's why I ran
I don't
quiet tight, for
disagree.
God's sakes, in fourth. I don't
Yeah.
know.
Me either. I have.
His
I
last
have
race
before,
wasn't
too.
totally
No.
awful,
And the race 3 back wasn't totally awful.
but this is.
You gotta hope that this horse. You know, I'll tell you what. Quiet Type. I thought it was a little interesting. This horse's 4 races are on turf with give in the ground. We don't have much give in the ground up here right now, so
have not gotten a lot of rain.
no.
What a day it is today.
The next 3 days are supposed to be
It's
glorious.
so funny because we had that incredibly hot week number 2. Week 3 was glorious. Last week was, an oven.
It's an in-out pattern,
And-
Andy. It's an in-out pattern.
Not fooling you, Anthony. Race number 5 starts to pick 6. Look at Phil's out there.
So's Ralph. Ralph was just videoing us.
Really?
Yeah.
He's got to pay my agent. Phil, have him talk to my agent. Phil's my agent now. Phil, get a contract signed, please. Race number 5 will start the pick 6, 123,900 and change in the carryover. It's a healthy one-day carryover, huh?
The way the fans and the gamblers have responded to the $1
Yeah.
pick 6.
And I should
it's
say-
something we preached for a very.
But
not to
let
pat
me
ourselves
say
on the back,
something else.
We preached it for a very long time.
Other racetracks should understand the jackpot bets are not good for anybody. They're good for one thing. They set the big play. They set it up for the big players. They set the table for big players. And there needs to be a sea change
If the
in this game away
if the
from
change to
jackpot
the
bets.
dollar here on our circuit hasn't proven that this is the way to go with the pick 6, I don't know what will.
I don't disagree, Anthony. Race number 5, Coffray. I feel like a bit of a sucker because the race we're about to show of Coffray's, and look at that segue. You guys are so on top of your game. This track got super speedy after it poured that day. So he may have been helped by the racetrack, but the thing about him is his first 2 races on the dirt, he ran against some pretty good horses. This guy chased Core Conviction, who before he went the wrong way
Yep.
was looking like a serious racehorse. And his first race, setting the pace that day, he's got dirt races to back it up. So I don't believe it's a total fluke, even though he was with the track. So I'm going to take him to wire the field in this race, the mile and 1/8. And I'm going to be honest with you. I want to see my friend Jimmy Jerkins get a win up here,
Be nice.
And it'd be nice, but I also think this is the right horse to do it. I don't love him, and maybe I should have put the number 5, Commander Compton, second, because Phil Bauer has come here with a purpose, my friend. I mean, what does he run? 4 horses with 3 wins?
Yeah.
I mean, and they're none of them are surprising. They're all relatively short, but his horses are here with a purpose, and for that reason, I kind of move him up as well.
No Red Revolution, huh?
Well, he has no chance. Why do you like him?
Why do you think he has no chance?
Because he's not good enough. Really? You liked him? Oh, okay. Why do you like him?
Well,
No chance. He doesn't have no chance. He has
I
a
don't
chance.
know whose idea it was to put him on the lead last time, but I would imagine there's some other speed in here.
Inside post, a mile and 1/8.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, but
Oh, I didn't like him at all. Why do you like him?
I would imagine he's going to get a more usual trip for him.
I'd be sitting second. He'll be sitting second behind the 4.
I would.
Why
I
wouldn't-
don't want him on the front end. I don't.
want him
I
on the front
think
end.
Eagle and Love is going to leave for some position.
Ran the best race of his career last time, arguably, with the front end. Okay, you think he's better than I do. That's fine.
Yeah.
We disagree. It's okay. It's horse racing. I mean, to be fair, his
I'm
figures
using
are
the 2,
fast up
4,
to
I'm
the beat.
using
I
the
just
2,
didn't like
4,
him.
and 7 in here to start the pick 6.
Okay, I would use 2, 5, and 7. You're going to leave out Phil Bauer? Leaving out Phil
I'm
Bauer?
trying, it's a $72 play. I wanted to keep it under. Well, I guess if I put him in, it keeps him under 100. No, I'm not going to use it. 2, 4, 7. Sticking to my guns.
Dale Romans getting a win yesterday. Nice to see Dale get a win. Junior Alvarado rode
She
that
was a
horse.
winner every step of the way.
Yeah, she galloped.
Off an 18-month layoff, she was a winner
galloped.
every step of the way.
She galloped. And Southern Passage obviously stunk the joint up last time against better horses, but the race is 2 and 3 back. I mean, make this horse a major player.
In these these condition claiming races, you have to be a little forgiving, I think, because these horses aren't consistent enough.
I want to know something.
Yes.
Eagle and Love. I love the chart callers here. They're awesome. But I want to say this. They need to watch the break again. Because I watched, it says jostled break. This was about as jostled I was walking alone through the paddock. The way I didn't see this horse have any trouble whatsoever. It was a little bit wide, but this horse did absolutely no running at all. I did not see this horse having trouble at the start.
I don't think he broke particularly well, but
He
I don't
didn't
think
break. He broke a step slow, but I think it was on him. I don't think it was. Watch the head on. There's nobody near him. I don't think that he had any trouble. Anyway,
agree.
that's the first 5. We got the late pick 5 to go, and the rest of the pick 6 carryover. Hang around. We'll be right back.
For almost 150 years, the Saratoga name has been synonymous with the finest quality, sustainably sourced spring water available anywhere. Saratoga carries on the rich tradition of its forefathers by crafting each stunning blue glass bottle with the same attention to detail and care that has been its hallmark for generations. Visit SaratogaSpringwater.com today or ask for us by name at your local market or restaurant. Saratoga Spring Water. Make every day exquisite.
We're back. Did you miss us? You know, by the way, with the New York Bred Stakes today, a big New York Bred day, the king, the head of the New York Thoroughbred Breeders, Naja Thompson, very nice interview with him in the Schenectady Gazette a couple of days ago. It was yesterday. Check that out. I remember him when he was, nobody like the rest of us, but now he's somebody. He's going to be interviewing the show, I believe, today.
Wow.
Yeah, it's going to be a very
Used to print out racing forms. Look at him now.
He would still do it for me. Naja came to work at NYRA.
Naja has at least 3 people to print stuff for him at this point.
Naja, when he came to work at NYRA, he was in the marketing office, and I used to have that cubicle there back when he first came here. And I think Naja and I were friends in under an hour. Literally, we just made friends instantly when he came in.
Poor Naja.
Nah, he's a great man. But
no, he's a great man.
He was a very valuable friend to me because he used to give me a ride to the F train many days. He lived nearby.
There's the rub.
Can't use them. They're not really
There's the rub. Unbelievable.
No, he's a good man, and we look forward to him being interviewed in the show today. Race number 6, there just really isn't a lot of form in this race. And I picked Mashney Girl. And this is her win back on April 8th. She's been really improved for Mark. I was going to quietly improved, but I think she really improved for Mark Hennig. And then 2 back, she met Make Mischief. Well, what chance did she have against her? And then that last race with First Act. And I liked a little bit of a cutback for her, and I just thought she's in the worst and the best form recently, and I like Mashney Girl and Kendra Carmouche. I don't think there's any. It's a clever pick by any stretch.
I could have literally put Snicket the 1, Secret Love the 2, and Mashney Girl the 3 in a bingo drum.
Oh, I could only take the 1 and 3. I will live and die with a 1 and 3 here.
Wow.
I'm not. I mean, obviously, if I played an extensive play and I had A, B's, and C's, I would use other horses as C's and things like that. But for a 1 caveman ticket, I would live and die with a 1 and 3 because I feel like I'd use them all.
I feel like Secret Love.
You watch her last race? She was awful.
She was
time.
terrible.
Absolutely awful.
She was terrible.
And I wonder if her form is declining now.
I think the fact that John Kimmel's running her back in the 3 weeks.
Why wouldn't he run
her? Well, I mean, because she was awful last time, Andy.
So he wants to get her to give her a shot. Her races 3 and 4 back are absolutely fine. I totally agree with you.
Yeah.
But why do you like Snicket? And I've got her second, so I'm obviously not.
I feel like I don't completely trust
Mashney Girl. I don't completely trust anybody in here.
I would have to imagine she gets a little bit of a better trip, being able to save some ground in here.
It's like a trick. Johnny filled it up, so it was like one of those pools where it comes over the edge.
And to be honest with you, ultimately, I took the horse that was the biggest price of the 3 horses I thought could win because there's really not too many separators in here.
No. I'm going to give you my slight problem with Snicket, and I picked her second, and she's a huge. I could have put her on top. I'm not. She won in pretty soft spots at short prices.
Yeah, no question about it.
And she's a proven loser. I know she won 2 races, but she's still got 9 seconds. You know what I mean? So I just worry that she's just not a winning type. But I'm with you. I got her second, and I got no problem with her. I'm not saying Secret Love can't win. I'm not saying bank on Anna, but bank on Anna when she won. It's a 4-horse field, and she was the they knew of the century. Having said that, Phil Turpey's horses are really running up here. He should have won that maiden race the other day when he got eliminated at the break, and he'd be like 4 for 8 at the meet if he had won that race. That's a lot of air in my ear.
But not for nothing, Andy. You want to talk about soft spots? Callie, Magic, and Waylon Josie.
I agree, but this horse did have legit trouble last time. I'm not saying she was winning.
I know.
But she was completely shut off 3/16 a mile in the race and had legit trouble in there. So I don't think she's impossible. Listen, we'll take a look at Chasing Kara's race 2 back. I know it was a sloppy track and she got loose, but she ran. And I don't know.
And the one thing you can say for getting back to Bank on Anna for a minute, at least there's some blue sky there. These other fillies and mares seem to be what they are, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
But how do you not give a little love to our friend Mitch Friedman?
No, kind of nice looking first win, yep.
Yeah.
Well, late birthday present for Hirsch.
He's run many horses. He's having a good meet.
No, yeah, he is having a good meet. No, Mitchell's horses are running.
I mean, I just see it. And, it's like...
This race kind of lives on an island, though, because it was the wet track.
The wet track.
She got to the front. You know what I mean?
I agree. That's why
I thought about using it, too, but...
It's got that 184. It does live in an island.
Yeah.
Anyway, interesting race, but not an easy race in the Union Avenue.
No. It's right outside, by the way.
For people you don't know, it's the big street the track is on. It's a great street. Union Avenue is a great street. It's a great street. It's the big Y expanse past the track, right to Congress Park.
Drive 180 miles north, make a left on Union Avenue.
I love the statue that Mary Lou Whitney donated. Sure. Native dancer at the end there, leading into the park.
Very pretty street.
Race number 7. Race number 7 is an extremely interesting race today, and there's an enormous amount going on in here. I want to talk about the race the Bahamian Club, Diamond Hands, and Spicer all come out of. And I can't say this enough. The weeks that the rails were at 9 feet on the inner, it's one in May, and it's particularly the week in June as well. No matter how slow the paces were, no matter how easy a trip horses had on the inside, they could not gain on the inside. All the races were dominated by outside runners. So even though Spicer had this 4-wide trip, was even more with the flow, whereas Diamond Hands, who Rod Masiello sold at an auction, and Todd Pletcher, we have a stat, I think, for Diamond Hands that we can show. Todd Pletcher has very good numbers, small sample.
No, guys, this isn't the right one.
No, that's the wrong. That's in the 10th race. This is race 7. Todd Pletcher does not look like Mark Casse, at least last time I saw him. Anyway, you will see she's going to be on the rail. He's 6 for 24, 25%, 242 with a 242 ROI. Trainer switch turf route. Just some info on Todd, who you would think of maybe not having his great numbers, and the ROI is very good. This horse had a monster excuse, being the inside speed. It didn't work, and Bahamian Club was completely buried down the inside. I mean, Manny didn't give the horse a bad ride. It just turned out to be the wrong ride. She broke a length slow as well, and just completely buried on the rail, as well as not having room. I'm going to take Bahamian Club of the 2. I'm going to use both of them. I'm committed to using horses on the rail. Those weeks, it's worked out. Well, it should have worked out well if that horse hadn't gotten in traffic.
You have Louis' horse higher than I do. Diamond Hands.
Louis, that's because I'm actually a better friend than the Big A is. Just so you know.
Right.
He knows.
How many Nove trips have you made this year, buddy?
You know why? How many? I'm not going to.
I'm at 22.
Because I can't go there because the guy won't let me pay.
I'm at
the
22.
Guy, yes, I know. How many did you pay for? Don't even.
I've paid.
Louis?
I've paid.
Louis, you want to weigh in on this?
I've paid.
Louis, I want to know how many of those meals Anthony paid for.
I've paid.
I want to know.
I've paid.
I think she's very interesting. I do too. These are the 2 I'm going to use in here.
Problem is, Andy, do you worry about the fact that, well, I guess the race at Pimlico was pretty good. I felt like she was going to need the lead, and there's some other speed in here.
I think she's on fine. She's not getting the lead. She's going to be sitting behind other
Storm
horses.
Kiss has to go, right?
But see, that's a problem for your horse. Well, look at your horse breaking her maiden, and I knew you'd pick her. So
she targeted up. She set right off that horse that was on the lead.
Yeah, but she's a very forwardly placed horse, and you've got speed from the 8 and 9 in this race.
Yeah, I'm hoping she just targets up. She lets those 2 go around. She just sits behind and targets up. That's what I'm hoping. That's why I like her in here.
I'm not saying she can't win. Obviously, she can.
You got a third.
She ran well in this race.
Yeah.
But the problem with her is she's stake-faced. And her last race makes it look like she ran better than she did because she set a very slow pace. And I'm not saying she ran badly because she didn't. But she didn't really do any running because she had the absolute perfect trip, and when the running was done, she wasn't good enough. Now, her not being good enough might be good enough to win this race. Believe me, I'm not against her. But I think she's going to be overbet because of being stake-faced in there. What do you like about Girl in a Rush other than having to pick every Christophe Rosario?
I really contemplated picking her on top.
Good move not doing it.
Well, I'm going to tell you why I didn't. I didn't because it is now 6 starts, and it's taken them 5 starts to get her back to a distance of ground. She didn't get into any trouble the day she was elevated for first, and that was the other thing that bothered me. She's never won a race. She was put up via DQ. But her running style and her pedigree certainly lead you to believe that more distance is going to be her friend. Yet they have not run her at the longer distances. I don't know if that was the plan. I don't know what the deal was. I don't.
Christoph sees the fact that the best races she ever ran was sprinting. I don't like her, but that doesn't mean she can't win.
I think she could be very dangerous with some speed in here, from off the pace, stretching out. She won't be as far back as she ordinarily is. She gets Joelle.
Okay.
I thought she made a lot of sense.
Okay. I want to mention the 9 Swift Action here because she's a very, very interesting horse. And I tell you one thing. I wish I had been at Laurel when she paid $8 last time.
She won on a quick turnaround, too.
I would recommend to people that are playing the Pick Six, and she's an unlikely winner of this race. It's a very, very tough race. But I would watch her debut because she clipped heels early in the running of the race, and stumble was a result. I have to think of a clip. She dropped to Washington, D.C. from where she was. When they were turning for home, she was still an absolute mile out of the race. And this horse made a serious run after that. She's got pedigree. She galloped on the dirt in her next start. Now, I don't know if she's good enough. I don't know if she's really a distance horse. And this is not an easy field. But this horse can run.
Not.
This horse can run. I'm just telling you, this horse can run. And I mean, if you don't, do me a favor. If you're putting a lot in the Pick Six and Pick Five, take a look at the replay of her first race. Watch it. And maybe it's a bit of an illusion, but I don't think so. This filly can run a little bit. Anyway, that's my. If she drew the inside and I didn't like anybody, I'd pick her to win. But the race doesn't set up great for her, and it's a tough spot. But she's kind of an interesting horse at a huge price. That's all. So the Evan Shipman, which used to be 1 1/8 miles, is now a mile from the Wilson Chute. Have you heard about the Wilson Chute?
I heard. I have.
This is an extraordinarily difficult race, and I'm going to start out and pick on my good friend David Aragon. I'm going to pick on him because I'm going to see him after the show, and I can tease him. Does he really think that Seafoam's going to be the third choice in this race?
It's kind of hard to see that,
I mean,
right?
I know the horse off a layup, but we're going to look at Seafoam winning this race last year over 3 jokers, and this was a great moment. This was really one of the top moments of the Saratoga meet. Michelle Giangulio winning her first race with a stake, with this horse off the claim for, dare I say, Marshall Graham in 10-strike racing, excuse me. My problem with this horse is this horse won on a Super Gold rail last time out, a big inside speed track last time. And now we haven't seen him for a long time, but he looks like the controlling speed on paper. I put him third, but I'm not, if I thought he was going to be 7-2, and David's the best, but is he really going to be third choice in this race? What do you think?
You think he's going to be shorter?
I think he's going to be shorter. I thought he'd vie for favoritism with Bankett. I'm not saying I don't think Bankett could be favored in here, but he's going to be
I mean,
I know Tiergun, and we'll get to Tiergun.
I see both arguments. I mean, Tiergun's coming off the big, gaudy victory.
We'll get to him in a second, but
no, I'm not going to talk about it. I'm just saying I can see the reasoning, the recency.
I'm sure David has solid reasoning.
The
he always does.
the recency. But, yeah, I mean, this was defending champion in the race. He's
kind of a story
someone.
horse. People remember him. I mean, I didn't argue he's the horse to beat. I can't wait to hear why you like Market Alert, but we'll get to that. But
say again?
You know I love Market Alert, but he's not winning this race. He may be able to control. Now, I will say, though, I mean, isn't Luis Saez going when there's a storm of brewing? I mean, Jose Ortizo probably won't be super aggressive, but isn't Luis Saez got to go when there's a storm brewing? I know he's not as fast necessarily, Seafoam, but he's got speed.
At the end of the day, for landing on a 9-5 shot.
At the end of the day.
I thought about this race long and hard. I think, like you,
We'll
I
get to
think
Bankett
there's a chance that there's some speed in here.
I think it's going to be I don't think it's going to be a
It's not
rapid
going to be like
pace.
last year, but it's going
I
to be
think
a more
it'll be a
contested
little more,
pace.
a little
it
more.
almost has to be,
a little
right?
more fairly run.
It almost has to be.
And I'm not against. I think all the 4 horses I put 1, 2, 3, 4 are all major players here, and we'll go to the Market Alert race since it was more recent coming out. You know I love Market Alert, and I've loved Market Alert for a long, long time. He and I have had a long storied history, which include making some money with him.
Yeah.
But he got a perfect trip, and I just think this race is much tougher today.
It is.
But he has got recency.
He has, number one, he has recency, and number two, there's a chance for him to work out that same kind of trip if there's some speed in here.
But everybody else going to work on the same kind of trip, too, and I just think they're better than he is.
But he has the, see,
He's got to get a lot faster to win this race or hope other horses don't show up.
He
Anthony.
absolutely does, but he's a big enough price.
But he's a big price because he's not fast enough. I
Yes.
thought you were going to leave poor Jimmy Ryerson alone.
But
haven't you buried the
I'm
guy
not allowed
enough?
to put him on top. I'm not allowed to put him on top.
Bury this guy.
No, I'm not allowed to put him on top.
After what you did to Seth on Wood Day and your good friend Jimmy Ryerson, you're really like
I know
you're
Jimmy
like
a long- I
Satan.
know Jimmy a
You
long
should do
time.
This, you should do this show with like a pitchfork.
I know Jimmy
with a
about as long as I
Satan
know
thing on it.
you. I know Jimmy a long time. I think he's the sneak.
I was tempted for a second to bring up the story of the first time Anthony and I had an actual interaction at Aqueduct, which is one of my favorite moments of all. I'm only going to say about this story, and you guys think I pick on Anthony. Anthony said something very, very mean about me. Actually, something very ridiculously mean about me the first time we ever interacted. Now, you have to understand, for anybody, if you've never been around Anthony when he was a kid, I'm talking 1995 here, okay?
No. Before that.
No, I was playing full time. It was when I was playing. No,
I was
you were about
18.
50
I
no,
wasn't
no.
18.
Oh, okay.
It's
Maybe
like
a little, yeah, a
91,
little younger.
92.
Okay. Everybody knew Anthony because he was the loudest guy in the joint. And I loved Anthony. I got the greatest kick out of him. I was friendly with his dad a little bit, but I didn't really know anything. He was a degenerate, loudmouth guy. He said something very, very mean about me, which I ended up laughing about and laughed with his dad about. And that's sort of how we ended up becoming friendly, because we've been friends a long, long time.
Long time.
And he's turning blue over there. But, I mean, there's a lot of people probably watching the show that remember Anthony 30 years ago, because if you were at Aqueduct in the late 80s, early 90s, you knew Anthony, believe
Losing
me.
my voice screaming for Julio Pazua
You were
on,
the greatest.
on a daily basis.
You were the greatest.
I'm still the greatest.
But you were a legend as a kid. You were the great. I loved you. I loved you. I didn't even know you, and I said I love this guy. You just and most guys were saying he's so obnoxious. I thought this guy's my kind of guy, and you were about 10.
Thank you, Andy.
But it's true. It's true. It's really sort of how we became friends. So as far as Tiergan, and I got to bank it last. I don't know why I put the favorite last. I'm kind of an idiot. I didn't know if he'd be favored. No, it makes sense. I mean, I know Tiergan's coming back in 9 days off the claim, but it's kind of funny because this is almost the exact same move that Michelle Giangiulio made with Seafoam last year. And I know this is a much tougher field.
I figured out why he made Tiergan second choice, David.
Third
He won
choice.
under
Third
the Wilson
choice.
shoot.
Third choice.
No, Tiergan second choice.
Tiergan. Well, of course.
He won under the Wilson shoot.
Ran a huge race.
Big
he runs
edge.
this race last time.
He'll be right there.
Let me ask you a question. Would he be the first two-time winner at the meet? Have we had a two-time winner at the meet yet?
No.
I don't feel like we have. Someone will text me that I'm wrong or something. Got a lot going on here. Acacia's checking in.
Yeah, Mr. Connecticut was not claimed.
Sorry.
I lost a lot of money on that.
He'll win his next time. I think so, you know, I forgot to talk about my pick, but we'll get to him. Let's show Bankit and talk about your pick. Tiergan can win here. I don't know, though. I thought he'd be overbet.
This was if I had any guts, I would have put Market Alert on top. But, I mean, this horse just he has the races on his card. He has more races than the rest on his card that get him to the winner's circle today. And quite frankly, that's...
I agree with you, and I picked him second. I have no issue.
I have no
my problem
other
with him
defense
is
of him.
he's not a winning type.
No,
I
he's
know
not.
He's got some
I know
recent
he's
wins,
not.
but he is a horse that loaded up on the seconds. He's actually been better, and now he's got to come. He hasn't run since Dubai. I don't care about that Dubai nonsense. That's crap, that stuff. But
Right.
And here's my problem with him. That race at Oaklawn was atrocious.
Awful.
That worried me because he was supposed to run a little bit that day, and he never got out of a gallop. That worried me a little bit.
And he's run okay off breaks in the past. That race was
That
concerning.
race bothered me. And listen, obviously he can win this race, but I don't know, man.
I'm
As
just
far as
hoping there's some pace. He picks them up late.
I'm going to tell you about Three Jokers. I think Three Jokers race against Dr. Ardito, and he hasn't run since that race, Dr. Ardito, right? Because he would be in this race. Right? He's not a New York bred. Is he?
Yeah.
He is, right?
Yeah, of course.
Jerry the Nipper's got to be running in the West Point.
West Point.
I'm looking forward to see him running at it. That horse ran a
You're
good
going to have
race.
to take on City Man.
You know what? I'm not getting into
Yes.
it. The fact that City Man's not in the four-star days.
Had to get him going.
It's going to annoy me for the rest of my life.
Had to nudge you,
well,
sorry.
Three Jokers has plenty of races that are good enough to win this race, and he is going to be the biggest price of the contenders here, in my opinion. And his last race, he was 2, 3, 4 wide. The rail was gold. He was against the track last time, so he has a viable excuse. His race 2 back is fast enough to win this race, and he's going to be a big price.
One lunch, 3 versus 6?
Absolutely.
All right, let's do it for
I
him.
don't want to root against Jimmy and your horse.
I don't want to root against John and Tanya, but
Well, I'm gonna do it.
but I'm going to.
One lunch. We're not really rooting against you guys. It's
Yeah.
a lunch.
We don't care.
Fun race.
Yeah, real.
No, this is a
Fact
this
of
is
the
a
truth of
highly
the matter is
competitive
all
race.
all the New York Bridge Stakes races are fun today.
This one though, there's a lot.
Lot
I
going
think the
on.
Philly race you're looking at, it's like nobody. I don't want to bet anybody.
Right, and
You know,
here
this
you,
race I
you
can
can
bet a
make
lot of
cases
them.
for 4 or 5 of them. Yep.
So race number 9, I knew Anthony and I would end up with the same horse in this race.
Yeah.
Because here's the horse that is probably going to be favored, and even Anthony couldn't bring him
Couldn't
to pick
do
this
it.
horse. Now, if Rosario had been riding the 3 Cool Cats,
Different
Kittens,
story.
he would have bet.
No, I was picking Sarah Splendor
Pratt's
today.
been winning a lot of races, by the way, since you knocked him for no reason. Let's take a look
Somebody
at
lit a
Cool
fire under him.
Cats, Kittens. Yeah, I'm sure he's really.
Oh,
banging
somebody
you.
lit a fire under him.
Yeah, it wasn't you.
It wasn't me.
He's a terrific rider, and he's doing great. You were silly.
Okay.
Listen, I'm going to tell you something.
Been saving a lot more ground.
I had a very lovely chat with my friend Irad, who still hasn't unblocked me from Twitter, but we had a nice chat yesterday.
Happy belated birthday.
Oh, yeah, it was his
Saw
birthday
him
yesterday.
It was at Nove last night
Yeah,
with
no,
Jose
we
and
had
the
a nice
families.
talk yesterday.
Yep.
Appreciated that. This horse's second place finish was a function of the race falling apart.
Yep. And you still couldn't get the job done.
And he still couldn't win to a horse that does not
She.
run well, and she was awful last time.
Well, you got a
She-
4th, huh?
Anthony, I don't need her to short price. She can win, but I don't need her. And you could talk about Sarah Splendor, who, by the way, I'm going to tell you, I put her on top. I have zero confidence in her, but I have to give her one more chance dropping down.
Me too.
That's it.
Dropping down, cutting back. I mean, you got to hope she just makes one run late. She took some money in her debut. I mean, I could not pick Cool Cats and Kittens on top.
Well, because Joel was on. Now, as far as
Probably.
Titi, Jorge Abreu, 2 for 4, turning back with a maiden special, maiden claiming drop down and turf, for what it's worth, with 690 ROI. So, and 3 hitting the board. Now, it's a tiny, ridiculous sample, but it is. He has had success doing it, and that helped me. She's got a big pedigree. It's just not clear she can run it all. What's wrong with unqualified?
Nothing.
I love the name,
Nothing.
the qualified.
Could have filled out the slots with
Oh, that horse
7
is
horses
okay.
here.
What about Eli Dancer? First time in the turf.
Yeah, first time in the
Or
turf.
Jose Cameo.
First time Lasix as well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, I thought that this horse, there's not much turf pedigree, but enough for me to throw the horse in. I wish it hadn't been a Alpha or a Bernardini
Alpha won the Woodward
the year after he won the Travers.
2013. Yeah, sloppy track, right? They honor Code Brokers made it.
13 or 12.
Is that right? Travers was in 12.
Travers was 12.
Stay Thirsty was in 11.
Who was the favorite in the Woodward that he won?
To honor and no. Did he run back? To honor and serve survived the inquiry.
When he should have come down against
Mucho
against
Macho
Mucho
Man.
Man. Yeah. Well, that was the funny Bill Mott story. Bill Mott had been in a maiden claiming race and run second, and his horse was herded out the whole stretch. And they didn't take the horse down that won. And I sit in the gazebo there, and Bill came out, and he knew I bet the horse. And he said to me, how did that horse not get put up? And we commiserated about it. And then after the exact same thing, literally, Honor served did the exact same thing to Mucho Macho Man. I saw him, and I said, well, you didn't get it put up in a maiden claimer, but they left you up in a $750,000 grade 1, and he laughed.
I watched that.
That horse should have come down. Absolutely.
I watched the race in my basement, and I was yelling and screaming the whole time. I bet a lot of money on To Honor and Serve. And
Mucho Macho Man was
when
so
they
much the
left
best.
him up,
He got left, Mucho Macho. He was about an hour and a half the best.
when they left them up, it just went quiet, and my mother just yelled down from the top. She goes, "Did you die?"
How they
No, they left me up.
I think I bet him, too. I can't believe
Couldn't
they left
believe
him
they
up.
left him up. Couldn't believe
Mucho
it.
Macho Man is one of those horses that was extremely unlucky at a few spots.
But got
he
the-
finally
yep.
got, but he got the luck. He was a
He
tremendous
got it.
horse.
He got his.
He
He
was,
got his come up.
he was a tremendous horse,
Yeah.
Mucho Macho Man.
He got his come up
He
that
was
day.
really, really good.
I
That
made,
was a
two,
good
I
Breeders'
made
Cup.
2 big scores against him when he ran off the board behind Ron the Greek in the Sunshine Millions the following year.
That was my last Breeders' Cup. You know that?
Really?
I followed that, doing that Breeders' Cup up. I did a recap of the races with Kurt Hoover.
And
at
that was
Santa
it?
Anita.
Wow.
Only time I ever worked with Kurt, who I actually heard from Kurt recently. Good
Nice.
guy. So race number 10 is, by the way, my personal favorite race on the entire card. I think it's a great race. I love this race. And one of the reasons that I like it a lot is Anthony copped out because it was the 10th race. It's a long
Right.
day.
You know I don't
and
like
he picked
10.
a horse that nobody in their right mind would bet that's 5-2 morning line. And we'll take a look at her losing a race that no horse should ever have lost. And this is She's a Mia.
This was frightening.
I want Classic Lynn out of this race. I believed in Classic Lynn last time. I unequivocally believe, A, she did not benefit from staying inside, but also she needed a race. And she has very good races last year, better than they look, and I believe she's going to win this race. It'll be very, very tough to beat in
I
here.
probably should have put
I
her
do not
higher.
like Classic Lynn at all.
You don't
if
like
she wins,
She's a Mia at all?
I lose. She's a Mia. I don't like her at all, and I think there's far more interesting. I'm not going to be shocked if She's a Mia win, but I'll be surprised. I prefer Christoph's other horse.
Waterville?
Yeah, Waterville.
I know. I'm kidding.
It's the town in Maine where I went to camp as a kid, by the way.
Waterville is a little south of here.
Watervillete. Watervillete. That's like when I said to the guy,
Jerry Brown calls it Waterville.
really?
Yeah.
I always heard it was Watervillete. But Jerry's
gonna go
a
with
local.
Jerry Brown.
Jerry's a local. Well, it's like when I
He worked there for like 38
First time I went
years.
to Lexington, the legendary John Gasper, who I didn't see at the sales. John's great. Picked me up and drove me around Lexington. And he said, we're now on Versailles Road. And I said, Versailles. And he looked at me. He
Not
said,
Kentucky, buddy.
New Yorker guy, you're in Lexington. You're in Kentucky.
When I was with the Horse Racing Radio Network, we were based out of Versailles as well, and I was out of Versailles as well. And I was down there saying Versailles, and they were like, "You're not in France, pal.
Yeah.
This is Versailles." I was like, "All
So,
right."
why are you doing this? Why? It's just stop. Stop.
Just
How many times you want to keep picking this horse and losing? Stop.
Just once. It was last time. That was it. I wasn't on this horse two back.
But
I think I was on a winner two back.
Three
I
back,
like
I don't
making
think
my
you
move.
were there.
Say again?
Three back, I don't know if you were there. Were you at the Derby? You're not there Derby weekend?
I was there for this one. I didn't pick this horse.
You didn't pick She's a
I don't think so.
Franny Lou.
I think I picked Solib.
Anyway. Rudy. Anyway, she's had her chances. I want no part of her.
Okay.
She wins, I lose.
I probably
Now,
should have your horse a
Waterville,
little higher.
Waterville, what?
I probably should have had your horse on the board.
Waterville, she had a good trip last time, and she lost to an okay horse. Croft's numbers, I don't know if I put the stat up. Did I have the stat? No, I have a stat for Sinfully Sweet, who we'll get to. Not great, 23 for 110. I'm sorry, 61 to 180 days turf route, 35 for 238, $1.12 ROI. Sweet Franny Lou needed the race. I don't know. I worry we haven't seen her in a while. I don't love a lot of horses in here. I'll tell you who's going to take money. I was very surprised. I think David picked Sinfully Sweet. I've got her fifth, and I know she was good last time. I've got a stat for Mark Cassie.
Well, that's what his
Stretching out off
Cassie
a
stat
maiden
was
win.
there.
How about this?
Yikes.
I know. She did run last time.
Or as Scooby-Doo would say, yoicks.
She did run last time, this horse.
Yep.
You know what I'm interested here? I'm interested in Fistful of Dice.
You a big craft player, Andy?
No.
You don't you do any casino?
I would watch my friend Bruce play craps when we went to Las Vegas because he's evidently entertaining. Nah,
You don't play in the casino at all?
not really. Doesn't really interest me.
I like to play roulette.
Okay. You have my permission. I mean, but this horse was three-wide pretty much around the racetrack last time out. I actually thought that Fistful of Dice is a horse that ran well enough off the layoff to suggest that she's improved. She draws well on the inside. Javier riding great. I thought she was a price horse to throw in there somewhere. I'm going to have a little
Thought
bit on her.
Theodora Grace was the price horse I wanted a little bit. Multiple wins in these other ends. I like to. I don't want to say gravitate towards them, but I think they're worth a second look. I know she's won a lot of claimant races,
But she got an absolute
she got a great setup last time.
ideal
Yeah,
setup
she did.
last time, and now she picks up IRAD, and she's
But she has to be a little bit of a price. IRAD or not, she has to be a little bit
I
of
was
a
walking at some point yesterday and heard a couple of guys saying, "Oh, we got to bet in this race. Who's IRAD riding?" And I just thought to myself,
You
"This
just
is
chuckled?
why."
Yeah.
And it's not. It's a compliment to IRAD.
Of
but
course.
But this is why you have to play against. It's not his fault that his horses are being overbet. I mean, it is his fault. It's his fault they're being overbet because
Which
he
is
rides
great.
well and he wins a lot of races. But they are being overbet, and it's,
You
it's a
remember-
burden.
you
It's a
remember-
burden for him,
you
frankly. He's going out and riding horses probably that are short prices and thinking, I don't love this horse I'm riding, and I'm going to look bad when I lose.
You probably met Dan Laletta a couple of times. He texted me yesterday because it was Rad's 30th birthday, and he said, "Is there a rider
30?
that was more accomplished in his 20s?" And I don't know if I had an answer for that.
Yeah, there was. Steve Coffin.
Throughout his 20s?
Well, what he did in Europe? I mean,
Listen.
he changed the game in Europe.
Okay.
Because he was aggressive over there and changed the game. And no knock on Irad, but yes. I mean, the
This
fact
guy's dominated
I'm
New
not,
York.
I'm not,
yeah.
I'm not saying, but to and I don't think you and I were around long enough to
Agree.
know guys in the past.
Agree.
But in my lifetime, the kid, I mean, yeah, Steve Coffin, he left here, went to Europe, and changed the game over there. I don't think
Fair enough.
I don't think people understand, the average person what he did over there.
Fair enough.
As a true, I think of who he was running against, too, right?
Yeah.
I don't mean in any way the fact that you can have this conversation and say it's a reasonable conversation to have. Angel was a little older when he started dominating.
Think so.
I mean, it's hard for me.
Right.
For me, as a kid in racing, and anybody that's near my age from Saratoga, unless you were there, you just can't understand what Angel was like.
Right.
He was a true rock star up here, a legend. I mean, he was
Still
the
is.
guy. Yeah, deservedly so. The guy in a way that nobody has been since.
It's probably a photo finish between him and 4-Star Dave for the most popular figures here.
And he was the guy that people loved to hate, and he thrived on it.
Yeah.
And as Paul Kornman said to me when he retired, people would, they'll miss him when he's gone. And you did, because the game benefited from Angel being in it.
Absolutely.
The game was better for Angel being in it. I mean, he had a personality. He sat at the.
He should have a stakes named for him up here.
In one of the Knick games in that great 7-game series against the Bulls, the 7-game series, they won all 3 games. No, they didn't win at home. They won the first game in Chicago. At Game 4, I sat a couple rows behind the basket, and he and Mutombo were sitting in the front row in front of me. Angel.
Wow.
And I didn't know Angel back then. That was long. That was like early 90s.
92,
early
93.
90s, yeah. Anyway, we're done. Beautiful day. Great weekend coming up. Anthony,
Come on
thank
out.
you as always.
Yep. Come on out.
Head on over to Naira Bets. Yeah, and we appreciate you watching at home, but we hope you can come out the track. It is absolutely glorious here. The place is filling up. Use the promo code TOGA200. We will match the $200 of your initial deposit. Play through Naira Bets. We've got 123,924 in the carryover. Kicks off in race number 5. We have 10 times points at Del Mar and Emerald. We have, what do we have, Anth?
We have the 4-Star Dave Challenge, 5 o'clock. You got about 4.5 hours, a little less than 4.5 hours. $3,000 buy-in. $5,000 is already seated in the prize pool. It's all cash prizes. You can play that here at the track as well as online at Naira Bets.
Fine job. You crushed that. You really did.
By the way, one of the Mechanicville royalty, Mike Suella, saying you were right about Waterville.
I was right. Jerry was wrong. Ooh. I mean, I've always heard it pronounced that way. It's not the way
Just
I
so you
pronounce
know,
it.
I
I've
did
lived
that to
here.
Barry Suella. It's to Jerry Brown. We'll see you next week, Suella.
I mean, I've just heard it pronounced Waterville my whole life. That's the only reason. It's not like I was. And finally, we're on FS2 from 1 to 5, 5 to 6 on 1, 6 to 6:30 on
Manhattan area code 212.
Yes, when I gave up my 212 number that I'd
No
had
house
for so
phone?
many years, no.
I have a house
Waste
phone.
of money. All it did, 2 things happened. Either my stalker called or there were sales calls.
I didn't know you had a stalker. Oh, you have to tell me
Other
this
than
one
you.
off air.
Other than you,
Other than me? Yeah. Right.
Anyway, we're done. It's a great day. Johnny I up next to reprise Scratch and Changes. Have a wonderful day.
For almost 150 years, the Saratoga name has been synonymous with the finest quality, sustainably sourced spring water available anywhere. Saratoga carries on the rich tradition of its forefathers by crafting each stunning blue glass bottle with the same attention to detail and care that has been its hallmark for generations. Visit SaratogaSpringwater.com today or